Muse for you, awesome websites without code.
Hey, what's up Musers? This is John at Muse for You, here to help you build awesome websites without code. And in this video tutorial, we're going to go over the Tooltip widget found at museforyoushop.com. So here I'm on the preview page, and a tooltip is basically a little pop-up that gives you more information about an element. And here we have the different styling options that you can do with the tooltip. So you can change the position, so you can do top, bottom, left, or right. For the size, you can do big, regular, or small. For the animation, you can do none, shift, perspective, fade, and scale. For the trigger, you can trigger on hover or on click. You can do a delay and duration, so you can set a delay so when the user hovers or clicks on the tooltip, it'll wait a certain amount of time and then it will show. You can set the duration, so here we can see it's a 2-second duration, so the tooltip is a bit slower. And here we have a 4-second duration, so it's really slow. And then you can animate the fill, so here I have the animate fill. So it's just a little bit more of an animation to the tooltip. And you can add an arrow to the tooltip as well. And you can set a custom theme for each of the tooltips. Alright, so that is the preview page. So in this video tutorial, I will go over how to use the widget and where to access it. So to access this widget, you simply go to museforyoushop.com. And here you can click subscribe now, and here you can click subscribe now again to get access to all widgets and any new widgets I come out with for $39 a year. Or if you'd like to subscribe with PayPal, you can click here and subscribe with PayPal. The tooltip widget is right here, and here you can click add to cart to purchase individually, or again you can click subscribe here to get access to all widgets and any new widgets I come out with for $39 a year. And if you'd like to subscribe with PayPal, you can click here and subscribe with PayPal. Here's the preview page we just went over. Here are the features included, a few of the widget options, the community section, and this video will be right here above the community section. So along with going over the widget, we'll also recreate the sample website. So I've just created some circles with gradients and added the tooltip to the circles. So let's get started. I'll go right into Adobe Muse, and I'm on a blank page. So here I'll just select the rectangle tool right to the left, and I'll just create a perfect square by holding down shift, and we'll make it 260 width and height, and I'll center it within the website, and then I'll just give it a color here. It can be any color. And so there we have an element. We have the square. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to the library panel, and if you don't see the library panel, you can go to window and click on library. So here to the right, I'll go to the library panel and I'll type in tooltip. So here we have the tooltip add first and the tooltip widget. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring in the tooltip add first. So here I'll click, hold, and drag and place onto my Adobe Muse website. And then I'll bring in the tooltip widget. So I'll click, hold, and drag and place right in there. And tooltips are really great because you can let the user know more information about an element. So it's a really fun and useful widget. So here we have the tooltip, the add first, and then the tooltip widget. So I'll open the widget options, and here we have the widget options. So I'll go through them one by one. So here's the graphic style name. So this is the graphic style name that you'll apply to the element so that you can add the tooltip to that element. So here it says tooltip 1. So I'll go ahead and click on this element, and then we have the graphic styles panel here to the right. If you don't see the graphic styles panel, you can go to window and click on graphic styles right here. So here I'll go back to the graphic styles panel. I'll create a new graphic style by clicking on this icon here that looks like a piece of paper with a folded corner. So I'll click there, and then here we have a new graphic style called style. I'll double click, and we have the graphic style dialog box, and I'll rename this to tooltip 1 because that's the name that's within the widget. So now I'll go to file, preview page, and browser, and if I hover over this element, we now have a tooltip on that element. So let's go on to the next options. So here we can change the tooltip text, so I can write something like Muse for you, or I can say awesome websites plus no code equals Muse for you. All right, and so I've changed the text. So I'll go to File, Preview Page, and Browser. Now when I hover, it says Awesome Websites plus no code equals Muse for you. So I can go back into the tooltip options, and for the tooltip position, I can either say top, bottom, left, or right. So I'll go ahead and change it to the right. And for the tooltip size, I'll make it big. For the trigger tooltip on, I'll say hover, so we'll leave it on hover. And the tooltip animation, let's change it to perspective. And we can add a tooltip delay, so we can set how long it waits before the tooltip shows. We can set a tooltip duration, so I'll make it 1 second to make it a bit slower. It's in milliseconds, so 1000 milliseconds equals 1 second. You can set the tooltip hide duration, so how long it takes for the tooltip to hide. So if I say 1 second here, it's going to wait 1 second before it hides the tooltip. And you can set the tooltip distance from the element. So the default is 10 pixels. You can set this to be further from the element. And the tooltip offset, you can move it to the left or right, or kind of offset it from its current position within, from the element. And here we can enable the arrow, or we can disable it. If you have the arrow enabled, it'll override the animate fill, so the animate fill won't work here. But here we have enable arrow, and you can set the arrow to small, regular, or big. Let's go ahead and set it to big just for these purposes. You can make it interactive, so you can highlight the text within the tooltip once it shows. You can say follow cursor. For now, we'll leave that unchecked. And you can say inertia. It adds a little bit more bounce when the tooltip shows. So let's go ahead and preview that and see how that looks. So now I'll go to File, Preview Page, and Browser. And now we have this really big tooltip to the right when we hover over the element. So what's really great about these tooltips is that they're kind of smart. So like if you resize the browser, it'll know that there's not enough space on the right, so it'll adjust the tooltip so it'll show just like that. So before, it knows it has enough space, so it'll show on the right. And if I resize, it'll kind of move to the left and say, it says, hey, there's not enough space. So I'm just going to adjust the tooltip to show more on the left and to come in from the left. All right, looks good. So now let's work with a few other options. Let's go ahead and uncheck. Oh, the other thing I didn't show, we set it to interactive. So when the tooltip shows and I hover over it, you can select the tooltip just like that. And it should be, let's see, hide the tooltip hide duration. Okay, so it takes 1 second for it to hide. If we were to set this to longer, it'll be really slow when it's hiding. So here it comes in 1 second, and then it takes 3 seconds for it to disappear. I just wanted to go over that really quick, just to make that a bit more clear. So this is the hide duration, how long it takes for the tooltip to hide. All right, kind of went over that. So yeah, tooltip duration and tooltip hide duration, and this is just kind of in and out duration of the tooltip. All right, so let me get back down here. So for now, I'm gonna uncheck enable arrow, and let's animate the fill, and we'll say follow cursor as well, and we'll enable inertia. So we have all of these checked. All right, so let's see how that looks. File, Preview Page, and Browser. So there we have the tooltip. The inertia, you can see it kind of bounces in as it comes into the website, and then it follows the cursor when I'm on the element, and that's because we selected follow cursor within the widget options. Looks good. So there, and the hide is set to 0, so when I hover off the element, it immediately hides the tooltip. So you can have a lot of fun. So a user can hover over an element and just see more information about the element as they're kind of going around the cursor. Looks good. So I'll go back, and just to clear that up a bit, so interactive is a little bit more bounce to the element. Animate fill, there's more of an animation as the fill comes in. Hide on click, if you selected to have the tooltip trigger on click, you could also hide it on click as well. You can allow for multiple tooltips on one element and on one page. Follow the cursor means that when the mouse is on the element and it's moving, the tooltip will move along with the cursor. And so I kind of switched these. Sorry, interactive means you can highlight the text within the tooltip. Inertia means there's more bounce to the element. All right, so I'm gonna do a few things here. So I'm gonna uncheck follow cursor. Okay, and one thing with the animate fill, we do need to work with the theme. So I'll go into the theme options really quick. For the theme, you can have different themes for each tooltip. So here we see it says theme instance number. I'm going to go ahead and add another element in a second, and we'll have 2 different themes for each of the tooltips. Here, these are Google fonts, so you can have, for now we have it set to Roboto. This is the font name, and the font family is Roboto Sans Serif. The font weight is 400, and you can change the text color for the tooltip. I'll go over this in a second when we create the second element. You can also change the tooltip background color, the tooltip border width, the tooltip border color, and the tooltip border type. You can change the arrow color and the animate fill color. So let me just go in here. So this is the animate fill color. So if the tooltip background color and the animate fill color are the same color, you're not going to really notice any animation. If you wanted the tooltip to kind of show that animation, you want to make the tooltip background color the same color as the background of your website. So for the tooltip background color, I'm going to say white, because what's going to happen is that the animate fill color is going to animate into the tooltip. So by having it set to white, you'll ensure that that tooltip isn't visible initially, and that animation will fill that entire tooltip. So I'll go ahead and preview. So I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and now if I hover, you can see that that tooltip is kind of animating in from the right. If you notice on the right, it looks like it's filling up that tooltip like water in a glass almost. And I'll change the position so we can see that a bit better. So I'll say, for the position, I'll say top, and I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and we can see we have that really nice animate fill there. So again, if you have the animate fill set, make sure the tooltip background color is the same color as the website, so that animate fill has kind of a blank canvas to fill that color within the tooltip. All right, so there we have the tooltip. So we've gone over the theme, we've gone over all the options within the tooltip, and now I'll create another element and we'll kind of style the tooltip a bit more and just work with the styling options. So here I'll just hit Command-C to copy this element and just kind of paste it right over here, and I'll just give this element a different color. So we'll give it this color here, and I'll click on the element for the graphic style, create a new graphic style, and I'll call it Tooltip 2. Then I'll copy this widget, the Tooltip 1 widget, copy and paste, and I'll open the widget options, and for the graphic style name I'll say Tooltip 2. And here I'll just write some, let me grab some lorem ipsum text for this one. So I'll just go to lipsum.com and we'll generate some placeholder text. And I'll just grab this paragraph here, or this sentence, and I'll go into Tooltip 2, and I'll just paste that right in there by hitting Control V, or selecting Control V. And for this one, we'll leave it at the top, and let's go ahead and go into the theme, because we're going to give this tooltip a different theme. So for the theme instance number, we're going to say 2, because it's a new theme. So if it was 1, it would inherit the theme from the first widget, because it also has the theme instance number 1. Because this is a new theme, we want to give it a new instance number. And then we're going to change the font name. So right in here within the widget options, we have here where it says Google Fonts. So go ahead and click on Google Fonts. We'll go ahead and click on there. And then let's just pick a fun font. So this Barrio font looks kind of fun. So to use this font, you simply click on the plus symbol here next to the font. And down here you'll notice it says one family selected. So go ahead and click on there on the bottom, and then here it'll give you the font family, and the font name is the first name within the font family. So we want to copy right here where it says font family, just copy at the beginning, and you don't need to copy the semicolon at the end. So I'll hold down Command-C to copy, and then I'll go back into the widget, I'll go into the theme, and then here in the tooltip font name, or the font family, I'll hold down Command-V to paste. So now we have Barrio cursive, and then we know the font name is this first name here within the font family. So we'll just type in Barrio, and we'll leave the font weight at 400, and we'll leave the text color the same. And let me go ahead and take Animate Fill off. Animate Fill works best with tooltips that don't have that much text in it. If it has a lot of text, the Animate Fill kind of tries to fill that whole tooltip. So with less text, the Animate Fill works really well. All right, so there we have that. And I'll go ahead and enable arrow as well for this one. So I'll click enable arrow, and let's see how that looks. So I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser. So I'll hover over it, and you notice we don't have any tooltip. So let's go back into the theme, and this is because we disabled animate fill. So if I go into the theme, and let's go into the tooltip background color, and we'll make it the same color, or we can select any color here. I'll make it orange, and that looks good there. And the arrow color, we'll make it the same color. It's good when the arrow color and the tooltip background color are the same, because they look like they go together. So I'll go back in here, and I'll go to File, Preview Page, and Browser. Now if I hover, we have that font there. So we have that Barrio font. Looks good. And if we hover over this one has its own font and its own styling. Looks good. So that's working with the theme instance number. You can just change the theme instance number and work with the colors and the font family and the font name from the Google Fonts website. So let's go over that one more time. We're going to change the font, or we'll add one more tooltip just to really cover everything here. So I'll hit Command V to paste, and I'll paste this element here, and I'll go ahead and give it a different color there, and then I'll copy this tooltip, and we'll call it Tooltip 3, and let's place it on the bottom, and we'll have it on click. We'll have it show on click. The animation will say scale. The duration will say 1 second. So here I am in the widget options. We'll say 1 second for the duration, and we'll say 1 second for the hide duration, and we'll say no delay. And the tooltip distance, will make it a little bit farther, so 30. The tooltip offset, we'll make it let's say 50, just to work with the offset. And there we go. So we've adjusted those. Now let's go into the theme. We'll change the theme instance number to 3. I'll go down here. Let's click on Google Fonts, and let's find another font here, something really kind of interesting. So let's work with this Anton font. So I'll click the plus symbol. Right down here we have one font family selected. I'll go ahead and copy the font family right before the semicolon. We don't need the semicolon. I'll go back into the widget, and for the theme, click on the theme. I'll Command V to paste that new font family in, and the font name is Anton. Perfect. And then the tooltip background color, we'll make it green, and here we'll make it green as well. Just kind of randomly selecting colors. We don't have any animate fill, so this animate fill color doesn't really pertain here. It can be any color, but because it's not set here in the animate fill, it doesn't matter what color that is. So now that we have all the settings, we want to apply the Tooltip 3 graphic style name to this element. So here I'll select the element, then I'll create a new graphic style in the graphic styles panel, and I'll double click and call this Tooltip 3. So now I'll go to File, Preview Page, and Browser, and if I click on the element, there we have the tooltip. So we can see the offset is offset to the right 50 pixels, and when we click, it takes 1 second for the element to show, and when we click again, it hides. It takes 1 second for it to hide. And it's scaling. The animation is set to scale. Looks good. And if I resize the browser, we can see that tooltip goes to the top. It's saying, hey, I don't have enough space at the bottom. I'm going to move to the top. And we have the different tooltips here. They're all styled differently. This has the same color as this orange, so it kind of looks like it's blending in. But there we go. And here we have it set to click. So when you click on the element, it shows. When you click out, it hides. Alright, so I think I've covered everything with the Tooltip widget. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer them. But there is a lot you can do with this widget. So now I'll just go over and recreate this website here. I like having fun with gradients and tooltips. So here I created kind of these fun gradients and tooltips. So let's create a new site. So I'll go to File, New Site. Or actually, better yet, what I'll do is I'll go to the plan view here, and we'll just create a new page. And we'll just call this page 2 for now, and I'll double click, and I'll just recreate that entire page there. One other thing before we get into that though, let's say you wanted to apply a tooltip to the entire page. Something fun you could do, so let me just add that real quick. So I'll add in the tooltip add first, the add first widget, and I'll bring in the tooltip widget here, and the graphic style name is tooltip. So click anywhere on the white space of the website and go to the graphic styles panel, and assign the graphic style name Tooltip 1 to this entire page, and then go into the widget options and select follow cursor. Alright, so we have follow cursor selected, and we'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and now wherever the user goes on the page, it has that tooltip. So if you wanted a cursor with a tooltip that says something fun, like, you know, I'll write something interesting like, hey, welcome to my website. And I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser. You know, it says, hey, welcome to my website. Anywhere the user has their mouse, it'll show that tooltip. Just a fun little idea if you wanted to have that for your mouse. And you could also use the image cursor to have a different cursor and have this tooltip on the cursor. All right, so just a quick thing I wanted to show there. Now we'll go ahead and style the website like that website that I showcased. So the first thing we're going to do is go to the library panel, and we're going to type in advanced gradients, and we're going to bring in the advanced gradients full screen 2 colors. So here I'm going to click, hold, and drag, place right in there. I'm actually going to place it on the right over here, and we'll go into the widget option. So the first color is this color here, the second color is this color here, and there we go. And then I'm going to add a few elements. So I'll go to the rectangle tool and select an element. So one thing I want to showcase really quick, I'll create an element and just fill it with white, and let's see how that looks like in the browser. So we noticed that down here the gradient isn't filling the entire browser. So what we need to do there is go to the full screen and make it a footer. So select the widget and select the button footer in the upper right of Adobe Muse, and this ensures that the gradient fills the entire browser. So I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and now we can see the gradient is filling the entire browser. Just a quick tip there, and I might make a quick tip video just showcasing that. So you click on the widget and you select footer so that gradient fills the entire browser. Okay, so we've done that. Now I'll create the elements. So let me select the rectangle tool. Let me delete this element. I'll select the rectangle tool here. I'll click and hold because we want to create ellipses. So I'll select the ellipse tool. I'll hold down Shift and create a perfect 200 by 200, or let's say 250 by 250 ellipse right there. Say 250 by 250, and we'll fill it with just this color for now, just so we can see it. And I'll copy and paste that a few times, just like that, and paste right in there. Looks good. All right, and then I'll assign different tooltip values to these elements. So let me go to the graphic styles panel. I already have the tooltip graphic style names in here because, again, I'm using the same website that I used for that first page. So I'll say Tooltip 1, Tooltip 2, and Tooltip 3. So Tooltip 1 we need to work on. So this one, we'll add a glow to it and set it to pink and set it to 100%. The fill is white. There we go. All right, so there we have the different rectangles. So right now, if I preview in the browser, File, Preview Page in Browser, we can see we have two tooltips on this one because we have the tooltip assigned to the entire page and this element. So let's go ahead and click on the page, and we're going to say none for the graphic style. So just make sure that you click anywhere on the page and say none in the graphic styles panel. And then I'll go to File, Preview Page in Browser, and now we only have one tooltip to each. And again, we have to go into the fill right up here and say none for the fill. So I have gotten that question a lot. If you find that there's a white background in the middle of your page, just go to the fill option right up here and say none. Sometimes when you're working with graphic styles, things can get applied to other elements when you don't want them to. So just make sure everything has the correct graphic style and that there's no graphic style applied to the entire page. So now I'll preview in the browser. There we go. So we have a tooltip. There's no tooltip for these two because they don't have any tooltip assigned to them. So now I'll go into Tooltip 1 into the widget options, and let me just add some placeholder text. So lipsum.com, and I'll say generate lorem ipsum. I'll grab this first sentence here, and I'll go into the widget, and I'll paste that in there, and we'll say top, we'll say regular, we'll say big for the tooltip size. Tooltip Animation, we'll say perspective. Duration 400 is fine, looks good. We'll leave the arrow selected, and we'll add a bit of inertia to the element, and we'll say follow cursor, and also allow multiple. So now I'll go into the theme, and let me go down here. For the theme, we want the background to be pink and the arrow color to be pink as well. Okay, perfect. So that's it. So now I'll copy this tooltip. I'll hold down Command C to copy and then Command V to paste. Place it right in there. For the tooltip name, the graphic style name, I'll say Tooltip 2. And for this one, we'll say, we'll assign it to the bottom, and we'll change it to scale. The animation will change to scale, and I'll paste that one more time in there, and we'll say Tooltip 3. And for this one, we'll say left, and the animation will say fade, and everything else looks good. Perfect. And now I'll bring in some more advanced gradients to assign gradients to each of these elements. So I'll go to the library panel, and I'll type in advanced gradients, and I'll bring in advanced gradients to colors with the graphic style. So I'll click, hold, and drag, place right in there, and I'll place it to the right. And for these colors, I'm going to say this dark blue, and then this pink color here. And then for the gradient angle, I'm going to say 120. All right, perfect. And I think that's it for that. So for the graphic style name, we're going to change it to Tooltip 1 because the first element already has Tooltip 1 applied to it. And then I'll just copy this a few more times and change the graphic style name, Tooltip 2. And then I'll copy this one more time, and we'll say Tooltip 3. Okay, and then I'll just add some text here. I'll select the text tool, create a text box, and say Tooltip. Select the text, go to the formatting options. We'll make the text 45, uppercase text transform, color, we'll set it to white, and letter spacing, we'll say 5 pixels, and we'll center the text. Perfect. And then we'll do something like this. We'll also set the text to Roboto Light. All right, looks good. I'm going to go ahead and add a background fill to the entire browser. So I'll go to the browser fill. To do that, click anywhere outside of the web page, and then go to the browser fill, and you can select any color for the browser fill. For this, it doesn't matter because I have the full screen gradient widget applied to the entire page, so it'll override this blue background. So now I'll go to File, Preview Page, and Browser, and there we have those tooltips applied to those 3 different circles. Looks good. I also applied a small kind of glow effect, or actually let me see if I did that here in the first one. Nope, looks good. So we'll just leave it as is. And I'll also bring in the font smoother. So I'll type in font smoother just to make that font up there look really nice, and the text as well on the website. So I'll go to File, Preview Page, and Browser, and if I hover over, we have those really nice tooltips. Alright, so that's it for this video tutorial and adding the tooltips. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. Again, to access this widget, you simply go to museforyoushop.com, and here you can click subscribe now, and here you can click subscribe now to get access to all widgets and any new widgets I come out with for $39 a year. Or if you'd like to subscribe with PayPal, you can click here and subscribe with PayPal. The Tooltip widget is right here. Here you can click on it, and here you can click add to cart to purchase individually, or again you can click subscribe to get access to all widgets and any new widgets I come out with for $39 a year. And you can also subscribe with PayPal by clicking here. Here are the features included, a few of the widget options, the community section, and the video will be right here, and also the preview page that we went over in the beginning as well. So that's it for this video tutorial. Again, I do this to help you build awesome websites without code. If you like this video tutorial, you can subscribe below. Also in the show more section below are links to other resources and links to museforyoushop.com. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video tutorial. Thank you.
Muse for you, awesome websites without code.